Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. It's April 28th, and you are now live with the Claus Connect. Thank you for joining us this evening. I am Shawn White, Mrs. Claus Vintage, and I'm very happy you're here tonight. Hello, Bart. Looks like we've got people adding on. Tonight's going to be a great show. We've got some guests that are just wonderful, wonderful parts of the Claus community. And we're going to talk with them about networking. So, hello, everyone. We are going to also include the chat tonight, as I try to do in the discussions, and we'll have some questions for you all too. We're going to let everybody kind of get on here before I open this up. Hello, Paul, John, Don. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. Another great week. Can't believe it's already been a week and we're back. Tonight, networking is a very important part of our community, and that's why we are going to talk about it. We're going to talk about all kinds of things in regards to that. This episode will explore the value of networking within the Claus community, going beyond friendships to focus on learning, support, collaboration, and growth. We'll be highlighting our experiences tonight with the North Pole Cornerstones and Santa's Family Reunion. Those that are with us tonight live, we're all together at these two different schools. And we're going to talk about the connections and how they continue to make a difference in their lives and with our community. Tonight, we're going to keep it warm and engaging and all kinds of wonderful things. Hello, Charlie. Thanks for joining us tonight. Okay, I'm going to go into, because I'm a teacher at heart, I'm going to talk about networking just a bit before I introduce our guests. Let's see who else. Hello, Terry. Thank you for joining us tonight. Tend to talk too fast and not enough people on here yet. Okay. Networking, in its most general sense, refers to the process of connecting with others to exchange information, build relationships, and potentially gain opportunities. It's a vital skill for career development, professional growth, and even finding new job opportunities. Some of the highlights of my reading, I did a little research into networking. Of course, I know some, but it doesn't hurt to research things before you talk about it with the community. Part of networking for career and business is building connections, forming relationships with people in our field and other fields, which is fascinating to me personally. Finding opportunities, some things you've never even thought about. You start networking and meeting people from different places, and you come up with a whole new world opens up with ideas. Expanding our knowledge. Nowadays, we've got some wonderful schools and classes that we can all attend that are just widening our horizons massively. Improving our communication. Now, networking definitely helps this, and social media is amazing for this. Amazing tool to be used to help us that didn't have years ago. This can really develop your career. The networking that I personally have done a lot of is travel and meet many, many people. A lot of you are on here tonight. And it brings so much wonderful things to my life. And the friends that I will have on here live have become a big part of my life, and because of networking. So some of the things one more thing here I'm going to go through to be effective when we are networking, to be approachable. Think about it. Be prepared. Being prepared can, who's going to the school you're going to. Maybe look them up on Facebook and See where they're from. There's nothing wrong with that type of stuff. Or the speakers. Listen actively. Really pay attention to your verbal and nonverbal communication with others. Follow up, like I said. We are blessed with all the social media to keep in contact with people and with all the different platforms for sure. So tonight, we are going to talk about networking and what it means to the Claus community and why it matters. It isn't just about making friends, it's building a support system. I've talked about that so many times, so many different shows. That support system is really important. And when you're getting through the season and you've got somebody to talk to or a group chat going, I really, really value that because it gets you through a lot of the hard stuff for the season or illnesses or whatever it may be, or covering for you. Let's see, what else was there? Okay, and then real quick, 2 things, and then I'm going to start our introductions. I was going to tell you all, I really thought about networking and personally how this has affected me. And one thing from the very beginning that happened because of networking, I met some people in Michigan when I wanted to go professional. I looked into education, and a Santa called me. His name is Ted Flynn. He called me on the phone, invited me to a group gathering they had in August. And then I heard that there was a man from Hire Santa that had been on Shark Tank. His name was Mitch Allen. So I thought, I've got to meet this guy. So I went to meet these people and to meet this person. And I ended up talking with Mitch and following him on social media. I was impressed, smart guy. And one of the questions that I asked that made a huge difference in my life and still affects it is I asked Mitch on a chat during one of his shows, I'm a new Mrs. Claus going professional. What do I need to do first? And Mitch told me, get some professional pictures done. That's all he said. And I did. I listened to him, and man, did that make a difference. I have used those pictures, and I still use them for so many things. For promos, it's gotten me jobs, so many things. So that was one of my big networking values in my life. And meeting other people at these places and ended up getting jobs or working with them, different Santas. And out of those jobs, because event planners do a lot of networking, I got bigger jobs. So that is all part of it. So now, enough about me. I'm going to introduce our guest. And I am going to start with Betsy. Betsy is one of my bestest friends from Dallas. And I'm going to introduce Trish from Texas also. Hello, Trish.
Hi, everyone.
And Sherry. Hello, Sherry.
Hey.
And is Melinda going to be able to make it? Do we know? She was having technical difficulties. We'll let her keep working on her picture there. Oh, okay. So, Betsy, I would like to start with you. I would like you each to give us a little quick intro. And in your intro, I would like you to introduce yourself, your character, your name, where in Texas you're from, a little bit of personal stuff, whatever you feel comfortable with. And one thing that you've gained from attending the schools, from networking. We're going to get into a lot more questions, but just a quick answer, something that just sticks out when I ask you that. So, Betsy.
Wonderful. Well, I am Betsy Modzayeski. There's also always a lot of talk about my name, but that's how you say it. I play the spirited Mrs. Claus, and I also play the spirited Tooth Fairy and the spirited Mother Goose. I am in Keller, Texas, and that is in the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. I've been Mrs. Claus going into my third season, and I absolutely love it. When I think about the schools, because I've been to quite, I'm saying a lot, but in my within my under 3 years, I've been to about probably four or so different events. And one thing that stands out about Cornerstones is that was the first time I had an opportunity to portray the Tooth Fairy and blend that in with working with Bruce and Sean and Mike. And so just all of the development that came from that moment and that collaboration with people that I had met fairly recently were so valuable to me. So
Yeah, that was amazing. You met, like just met everybody, and then we were on stage acting.
yes,
That was crazy.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Sherry.
Well, I'm Sherry Davis, but I'm known as Mimi Claus. And I just finished my first year. My husband had done 2 years, but I had started going to school with him. I'm from Waxahachie, Texas. And so I started attending schools before I was actually Mrs. Claus. And I can't say enough good things. I've been to like 5 schools now, and I can't say enough good things about school. It's it got me over the hump, and North Pole did the real hump for me because they made me get out of my comfort zone. I had worked with children my whole life, but I'd been away from it for a while, and so I was very intimidated by jumping back in. And that it's a very hands-on kind of school, interactive, helps you kind of get out of your comfort zone. At first, I was like, I'm not doing this. But when they kind of encourage it and you do it, you find out, oh, I remember this. I haven't had any acting lessons or done anything like that. So I was hugely intimidated. But, you know, I think the thing I like the most about schools is you become a family, and it's so cool to watch. So, yeah.
And you did wonderful on stage. He was so nervous, everyone, but she got up there. We're like, oh my God, she's a natural. It
I
was,
just try to I try to put myself out of hugely uncomfortable zone that I get in, and it's intimidating to do it for your peers more than it is the
yeah,
children. So
that's a
much
fact.
easier because they're so excited to see you. So yeah, thank you. You
We
did
were
great.
all cheering for you.
I needed it.
Trish, tell us
Hi,
about
everyone.
yourself.
I
Hello.
am Trish Biznicki, also known as Mrs. Claus the Evergreen Queen. And I live in Dallas proper, but I work out all over the DFW Metroplex. Um, I was a lucky recipient of North Pole Cornerstone Scholarship this year. So I really am very thankful for that. It was a wonderful experience. I got to renew friendships that I hadn't seen for a while and made new friendships. And it's, I mean, the schools are so valuable to networking. It's one of, I think, in my opinion, one of the most important reasons why I like to go to the schools, because like Sherry said, it's one big family and you really get to know each other. So one thing at North Pole Cornerstones, we had a team building activity. And although I had already known Sherry and Larry, we bonded over that experience. And I also got to meet Angie Ellison and Russell, and they're great people. So it was just wonderful.
Yeah,
Definitely recommend the schools for networking.
Yes.
thank you. And another note, Santa's family reunion was wonderful for networking, spending time together. Uh, very enjoyable. Looks like I have an echo on here now. Okay. Well, let's go to a question. Melinda's trying real hard to get on here, so hopefully it'll work. She's another Texas Mrs. Claus that will be here hopefully. So, okay, question. Let's see, what would be a good one? What has surprised you the most about networking within the industry that's different from the other parts of life or occupation?
I can tell you one thing that's huge for me. The business that I was in before I was a Mrs. Claus, it just seemed like people were so competitive and so like, oh, let's not share that secret and all this kind of stuff. And being in the Claus community has been such a breath of fresh air. Like everybody just wants to help everybody and share their ideals. There's that's really neat to me because that shows that people want to support because there's no way that a Santa and a Mrs. Claus or a Tooth Fairy or anybody can do the whole world. So it's just nice to know that in the Claus community that we're so open with our ideals and our we try to help each other figure out things and support each other. That's been my favorite thing.
Betsy?
I agree. I think that it's a very helpful community.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I've realized is that we are all kind of the same, and it's not like other groups of friends I have or other professional people or anything like that, because I can sit with you ladies and we can talk about the most creative things in the whole wide world, and we can come up with more creative things. Not everybody can just do that. So I think that's a really special thing that we have in our community. I appreciate very much because it does make you better by being around that, I believe. So
I think generally we are an eccentric and creative group. So, and I think that is part of what makes it so much fun being around each other because we're all a little bit different. It's not your norm in like corporate networking. We are just kind of, let's have fun, let's get creative, and our eccentricities come out. And that's, I think, what really makes it special.
Yeah. Betsy, would you like to add anything?
I was just going to kind of piggyback on that when you were talking about the creativity. And most of us worked in different fields. Probably mine was theater, but, so I worked with a lot of creatives. But the environment that I have experienced within the Claus community is that they want to help. Like if you reach out to people who are experienced in this field, they are willing to meet with you. They're willing to take that time. They're at this stage of life and very intentional because all of us had to start somewhere. So just, having the courage to reach out to people. I had read an article or seen you on a show. Actually, it was Tuesday Night Live, I think, Sean. And so I saw Sean on there before I ever met her. But when I went to a school, I saw her sitting there and I placed myself next to her because I saw someone that I admired and kind of the things she was saying in that interview mirrored a lot of what was in my own heart. And so I wanted to meet her and connect. And she was more than willing to mentor me in some ways. And then, it developed into more in terms of our collaboration. But it's a wonderful community full of people willing to share with others.
And, I remember making the intentional decision that I would share everything that I knew. I remember making that because at the beginning, you don't know, do I keep my secrets? Do I just perform and do everything how I do it and not tell anybody it's a big secret? No, share everything that you can share. There's plenty of children in the world, but I had to make that decision and I remember doing it. So
yeah,
part of the community, safe space, all that type of stuff to help each other.
Yes.
So if you're just starting out, you ladies have all been in this for a little bit and around children and that type of stuff. What's one tip you'd give to help a person that's just entered the community, what would you say to them? Advice. Go ahead, whoever wants to.
I say find your tribe. I mean, we are all a family, but there are also differences within the Claus community. And you will connect with some people really well. And once you find that tribe, it just strengthens your whole business. Being able to communicate, bounce things off each other. Definitely, again, back to the networking. It's crucial, I think, to be successful.
And I think that, and I could speak like Trish and I we came into this at a similar time. You know, she'd already had kind of a season, but we entered into this together. And so another benefit of that networking is that we travel together. We have that support from each other. I don't know that I would have done all of the immediate travel and things that I got to do with it, because being a Mrs. Claus is a little bit different. You know, being a single woman traveling is a little bit different, I think, than some of the Santas might experience. So having her to travel with and giving me that meant everything. And that just that support and that place, you know, person to call after events and talk to her about how it went, and somebody who understands that mutual thing. So, and the same with Sherry as well. We all have that wonderful community here in Texas.
And, you know, I kind of feel like I'm part of your community, even though I'm not in Texas. Come down there once a year, maybe twice. But, and that's the beauty of like Facebook and Messenger and talking on the phone and all these type of things. It seems like there is no distance sometimes, thankfully.
Test your camera.
Let's go on our
Hello camera. Check. Sure your browser has the necessary permissions.
Angela,
Also,
can you mute her?
For Mrs. Claus, like new Mrs. Clauses, I was going to say both Trish and I reached out to Mrs. Claus Dallas, and she met with us and worked with us and gave us a mini training session and was willing again to share that. So one thing I was going to say, the two bits of things that I have to offer are reach out to those people, number one, and also say yes to everything. Get a chance to experience every type of different event that you can.
Absolutely.
Yep. And were you going to say something, Sherry? Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to iterate too that had we not, the very first school we went to was Tim Conahan. Was it first? Okay. School of Santas was actually first. And I was scared to death because I didn't know anybody. And I don't act like it anymore, but I am kind of a shy person. So going into a room with a bunch of people I don't know and seeing the talent there was unbelievable. But the networking is so important because I thought I was meeting a superstar that first year because Ed Taylor was there. And I had been watching him on Facebook, thinking how wonderful all the really cool things he had done inspired me. But I just think reaching out, if you decide you want to be a Mrs. Claus, just start friending all the Mrs. Clauses out there. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't near as intimidating seeing those faces on Facebook going into the school. And I'm telling you, they just kind of just crowd around you and make you feel more comfortable, you know? And so the schools are just a must, and open yourself up on the networking is important.
One of the things I remember, like specifically, the ladies that talked to me first, the things they told me, like, and I don't remember a whole lot of stuff, you know, but that stuff, it was an older lady that just kind of sat and talked to me about stuff. And that's what it should be. It's, you know, So let's go through our comments here. Looks like I said hello. We got Neil's here from Australia. Hello, Neil.
Hi, Neil.
Hello, Bart. Networking is great for mentorship as well as seeking peers with common interests with more advanced collaboration, that's for sure. Um, let's see, what's the other?
The chats are not coming up for me. The chats.
Bart also said, it seems that the closer your circle of networking is based in physical local, that sharing of advanced information gives way to base level mentoring. It isn't the threat to share information freely with someone that is not competing for the same job. It takes a higher level of security and confidence to freely share your otherwise guarded tricks of the trade. It is hard to do at the beginning because you really don't know. But after a while, and it is, I guess, your self-esteem, because after a while you do start really believing in what you're doing and feel stronger about it. Bart liked, Trish, your find your tribe comment. That was cool. Greg said you should think about adding a photo booth, children taking a picture with the missus. Very cool. Yep. They take a zillion pictures with a Mrs. Claus. Don says, I got to work with a Mrs. Claus for the first time last year. It was great and a most interesting evening. Ernie says, hello, ladies. Betsy, Sean, and Trish, and Sherry. Nice seeing everyone. Well, hello, Ernie.
Hi, Ernie.
Hi, Ernie.
Charlie says, we are better together. The MAPS motto. Yes, we are. We are all better together, per Ernie. That's for sure. And I will also say that it's not just the Mrs. Clauses that I found personally. It's Santas that are just as valuable to be involved with the community and with all of us. Even though some of us do solo, it doesn't matter. We all have to learn from each other. That's why I like Santas involved in stuff I do, not just the Mrs. Clauses, because it's a full picture of what we do. And even if we're solo, still talking about Santa. I mean, it's never really separate for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Deborah. Thanks for joining us. Okay, let's get another good question. Actually, Angela, if you would like to go to a break right now, it's 7:30. It'd be a good time for that. So I hope everybody saw those pictures of the boots. They are the coolest. And the people that run the company are awesome. I can't wait to talk with them because I'm going to get a pair somehow. Yeah, I'm really excited about that. Okay. So let's see. How do you see networking shaping the future of the Claus community? How could this make an impact on our Claus community? Good or bad? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I definitely think going into it, you could have more confidence and more skills, you know, maybe not so nervous, because I was so nervous about, I know y'all can't imagine that. But I was so nervous about doing Mrs. Claus, and I couldn't figure out why, because I had taught Mother's Day out. I'd been in Romania with kids and all kinds of things, but I don't know, there was something intimidating for me about it at the beginning. So I think the more networking you can do, the better you're going to feel.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think networking is so important because we are, there's a whole new group that is coming into this industry, and they are going to hold those stories and they are going to continue it. And so it's important for all of us to continue to be that Claus family and work together to, within Christmas, just the joy of Christmas and all that. Because I think that's something we have all of us have in common. In addition to our love for children, I can think of all of my great mentors, and I pulled this over here because it's about networking, but Jackie Chamberlain gave me my Mrs. Claus bag that's so special to me, and I use it at every event with my puppets and treasures that come out of it, but all because she was willing to mentor me and network with me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Same thing here. I got my first dress from Darla Bicknell. Everyone knows her as Mrs. Claus Dallas. It's my favorite dress. I wear it all the time. She was just so gracious. She so willingly shares her information. She's just so generous and knowledgeable and just such a gracious woman. So that was really helpful.
She's one of the first ladies that I hadn't met any of you guys, but I saw her, like, aside from my first group in Michigan, and I just, oh my God, I thought she was like, and I still do. She is somebody I look up to. I've not been able to meet her yet, and I've told her, like, she cried, and I was like, I'm sorry, but I just think I love you, and you're so wonderful, and you're so classy. Everything that I want to be and I aspire to be. So I agree.
Well, she's highly respected for a reason.
Mm-hmm. She's amazing.
I see that question there. I know you'll get to questions, but I think that kind of relates to what we're talking about. It's a question from Bart about how do you think AI, you see AI replacing networking, and I understand AI, like you wrote at the end of that, replacing the need to rely on others for information. I think connection is everything, and I don't think that AI is ever going to replace that. I went to a big networking event in my own community last week. It was speed networking, hundreds of people. We had that connection with other business owners in our community. And just the conversations and the human connection that we had there, it gave me a sense of peace about the world in terms of AI is part of everything. It's going to change things constantly. But in terms of that human connection and what we do and what we give to children, I don't see it being able to replace that.
I don't see AI being able to, like Betsy said, the human interaction is so important. But what is so important to our community is the heart of our community. And I don't think AI will ever be able to replace the heart of Santa and Mrs. Claus.
Yeah.
I just don't see that happening.
I agree thoroughly. AI is not going to meet me at IHOP and Darwin at IHOP because, and I think you just have to get out of your comfort zone, because I too, Sean, followed her on Facebook, and I was like, oh, I want to be classy like her. I want to do what she's doing. And so I just Facebooked her and said, I think I might need to meet you. But what's really funny about the Darla story is about probably 10 years ago, we were sitting back around a campfire with some friends, and she was there, and she looked at my husband and said, have you ever thought about being a Mr. Claus, Santa Claus? And he was like taken back by it, because we hadn't even thought about it at that time. And so years later, when he became a Santa Claus, we needed to meet her, and we weren't sure exactly who she was. And somehow it all got connected. So it was really cool. And she met with me and she brought all this stuff to me, and I was like, who does that? You know, just gave her time and her knowledge to me. To somebody told me one time, what's the use in going to school or networking kind of thing? It doesn't take a lot to be a Santa and a Mrs. Claus. But what I have really found out is that you can be a Mrs. Claus, but you can be a great Mrs. Claus.
There you go.
And how much work I needed on presenting a story, for instance, it's just amazing to watch her tell a story. I love it. Yeah.
Someday I'll meet her. Thank
Yeah.
you. I love that story. I love that story so much. Let's go over here and see. Larry Davis says, you do learn so much from the schools, but you also learn a lot just being able to visit with your Claus family while at school. It was like a family reunion. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, as Betsy was talking, Sherry said going to IHOP, I was thinking you can't have coffee after waking up in a cabin watching for the bear. I mean, that has nothing. I can't.
Don't even go to there.
Trish does not like bears.
No. These girls like bears. I don't.
Me too. I love bears.
I do too. Yeah. Poor Trish.
I was glad the one we saw, we were in the car and the windows were rolled up until Lindy rolled the window down to take a picture. And I was like, shut that window.
That was our bonding time over the bear. Yeah, so you couldn't, I mean, that was moments that we'll never forget, and just silly moments and time that Betsy and I have spent hours picking each other's brains about so many different things. And nothing, I don't think anything could replace that, because there's a human connection, you know. So I'm fortunate. I'm happy about that. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see what Mike says. Networking and getting to know professionals is an important way to learn and share experiences and ideas, for sure. Mm-hmm. Not to mention sharing opportunities with trusted professionals when you may have more bookings than availability. Yes, definitely. Definitely. And I've thought about that too with some people that I know are really working hard at being really good at what they're doing, and people in my area, I've thought I like what I'm seeing, so that I feel like I could trust that if something came up and I needed help, or they could replace me or something like that, I might just be doing that, reaching out to them, or hiring some of these Santas to work with me at some different stuff I have coming up. So
absolutely. When you go to like events, I think that's where I met Larry, Sherry, before I even met you. I met you were sick that day or something, and Trish and I were at this event in Grapevine, and meeting lots of Santas that we have then, gotten jobs from, given jobs to, just that overall connection you make on all the ends. I mean, there was Randy, I don't know if the Neelys are on here, but there was Debbie by the end of the season was tired. I think she was sick and had other things. So Randy called, and they called me and said, can you fill in for her for this night? So Trish and I do that. We work together on the train. We, having that connection. And I'll tell you, that train work is wonderful, but I can't tell you how nice it was at the end of the night for us to see each other and then walk to our cars together and just have that shared history of being Mrs. Claus. So
it was fun. Hard. It's tasking, but it is, I enjoyed it.
And we laughed at rehearsals because there were Santas on the train that are within our community. A few of them, most of them were not. They were outside the community. But having that, and there was actually another couple from our community there too. So it was just nice.
And I have to say, some of the Santas that were not from our community could benefit greatly from some of the classes in our community.
We were promoting the schools to a few
definitely
in sweet ways, but we do think, I heard a couple talking about not needing education. I know that's a big thing. Some people don't think they need schools. I'm not talking about that. I think that it's just more opportunities for you to grow and learn and to connect with others.
There's so many things that I like. This year I'm going to have a puppet. It's going to add to what I do. It's going to bring magic, more magic to the children. Last year I did the magic book that lit up just out of the blue because I had seen somebody do it. I didn't have any idea how I was going to do it, but why not? Right? This is how we add. It's for the kids, the bottom line for all these children to make better experiences. Okay, let's see. And speaking of puppets, Don, he received his my Arctic Fox puppet should be in my hands tomorrow. Yay! I told you I was going to borrow your idea, and I know exactly where and how I'm going to use it. I cannot wait to hear about this. And another, I haven't told you this, but I ordered a puppet that it's a reindeer.
Oh.
It's like a baby reindeer, but it's pretty big. So he should be here like in the next couple days. So I thought if it's too big for me, maybe Jeff would use it or something. I'm not sure.
You got a new puppet?
But I couldn't help it. Okay, let's see. Bob says, Doug and Sue, not tonight, but we are looking to expand in the near future. I don't know what this is. Oh, they're moving over to stream. Okay, there's just some technical stuff that's going to be happening. Boy, thank you. Mike says, in the era of AI, human connection will become more important, specifically with explaining what we do, how and why we do it, for sure. Bob says, Mrs. Christmas Claus, Carol McMaster says, hi to you all.
Oh, hi, Carol.
Sherry, she said you are so cute with your stories. We love Sherry.
I know I'm playing with my glasses because I can't get used to them.
Aw. Are they new or what? What's going
Yes,
on?
I'm blind is basically that's what it is. And so I'm not quite ready for getting my eyes fixed. So, yeah.
Well, they look very nice.
They're driving me crazy.
Bart says the red envelope. Okay. I'm not sure I know what the red envelope is, but
isn't that
that's something that
Where they
we
put
all need to do.
The hair, the feather, isn't that the one that the bear thing?
Rex Ray usually talks about it. Yeah.
Isn't it where you are passing down your
It's what
blood?
to do.
Oh, that one, the one. Oh,
Not
I
sure
could
what's
be
going
wrong.
on.
Your legacy envelope? Is it called a legacy envelope?
Patrick says hello from Houston, ladies.
Patrick.
Hey, Patrick.
Yes. Yep. Don says, Trish, please expand on Santa's needing more.
Oh, are you talking about the
I'm not sure
ones
what's
on the
going on
train?
with this.
Is that what he's talking? Okay. It's
okay.
just
Kane
that there
says
was
people who think they don't need education need to be educated on why they need education.
Right. Yes, there were some. They could use a little bit of knowledge in terms of polishing up their act and just some of the things that the way they dealt with the children and the families. And I mean, I definitely think they would benefit from attending the schools.
All right. Well, we're going to take over now that Sean's not here.
Where is Sean?
Did she leave? Okay. Well, we're in charge now.
I think she lost her connection. I saw it going.
She'll be back. I wouldn't worry. We can continue with the, I need my glasses now. Hold on. All right. Dawn says, I do an event at Artificial Tree Store. Some of the little ones are afraid of Santa, and I'm hoping I can relieve their fear with the puppet and get them curious. I'll tell you, Dawn, the puppet works wonderful. I have a squirrel puppet, and it's very gentle, and it sits with me. It's similar to what Sean and I have talked about with what she's going to do, but it really does bridge that gap between children who are very nervous. It's just a tool, like all the things we do. Trish, you have several tools. I know Sherry does as well, and a puppet is one that so valuable.
I don't have a puppet yet, but I've seen one
that
I
Trish,
really love.
I was going to say, you do the same thing though with your ring.
Yes,
ring. That's your bridge.
Absolutely. I have a very large red ring that I wear, and you would not believe how much these children are attracted to my ring. And then I have a story behind it and the whole thing. So, I mean, these are all just props we all use, and everyone has their own style. And right now, no puppet for me. I've seen one I love, but I don't know.
You know what? I do think it is just having that bridge and going back to networking. Sean, we took over for you.
I'm glad. That's why I love you girls. So don't worry about it.
We're community. But I was going to say, one of the things, Trish, again, shares what she does with the ring. We all listen and we use those things in whatever way we can. And so that's a huge benefit. Trish and I have ridden in the car together through storms and all the things. And we have had hours to talk about what we do, how we do it. And it all started just from networking.
Yes.
And I guess it goes back to your comfort level. Like, you're very comfortable with the puppets, and I'm comfortable with showing my ring. And I'm sure Sherry has her. I love that little song her and Larry did at North Pole Cornerstones. I mean, that was so adorable.
Well, we did lots of cookies last year. We did lots of cookies last year, and of course, that was the first thing that came to mind, because we've always played that song for our grandchildren, and they love it. And so, but yeah, it's just, I think it's everybody's thing. I actually think it's a really good idea for us to have a networking one night, and people that do have puppets to do their puppets for us, because I've actually not seen a puppet. I've caught Betsy a few times, but not very many, and she's awesome. My gosh. And so I just think I made up a story about an elf. I have a female elf. Her name is Snowball, and she loves to make snowballs, And,
Sherry, here's my.
Oh, is that your puppet?
So far, yeah.
He's cute. What's his name?
Furry.
We haven't developed anything yet with him. I've been too busy.
He's darling.
Very
cool.
I love that his head moves like that so freely.
I didn't know it was gonna until I got him, and
he's really cute.
Going to the other end of things, and I hope this is a small group and nobody watches it later, because I'm going to bring out jingles. So I thought everyone's like quaking in fear. This is Jingles. I know he's not cute. He's horrible, but I think it's the teeth. He rather scares children. I normally work with other puppets, but I did bring him out one day, didn't I, Jingles? And he scared the 3-year-olds, so he will not be coming back. But what I wanted to say is an owl and that getting children to talk to you through that, that beautiful, just the contrast there between this is a ventriloquy puppet. I got him from a ventriloquist, but if you look at, children are going to naturally gravitate to your beautiful, sweet owl and the gentleness that brings on. I love that.
Yeah, and I hope it is a bridge to the children.
That's what
there's always a few of them that fall in the gap.
Yes.
I want it to be for those children that need to touch the owl to feel safer or whatever is going on. That's what I'm hoping happens this year with that.
Mike says that they can connect with the puppet if it's quiet and peaceful and Jingles is not. And then you can bring them into Santa. And that's exactly what I have found on every single time I've worked with puppets. This said, I don't think that puppets are the only way. What I love about what Trish was talking about with her ring is that that's such a beautiful way to bring children in and to get them talking to you so that they're ready to see Santa. And yes, it is his eyes, Don. I agree.
Okay, I've got a question. What's the most memorable or unexpected place you've made a Claus connection? I will go first because this is funny. I was in Meijer grocery shopping, and I was in the middle aisle looking at clearance Christmas stuff, I think. And I walked around the corner, and there was this man standing there, this gigantic man who had a beard, and he was like a beautiful Santa Claus. And I just started talking like he, I couldn't help it. I was like, have you ever played Santa before? Because he just, and I think it was right after the season. So I really have no shyness to me after being thousands of people. It's just gone. And he was flattered. He was probably in his late 30s. And he said, I've thought about doing this, but I didn't know how to do it. He was from a town over. And then I introduced myself, so I wasn't crazy lady, and told him that I was a professional Mrs. Claus. And this guy was speechless, but he's now on Facebook and he's done some Santa stuff. Yeah, so that was the craziest connection. And after I did it, I was like, can I ever just keep my mouth shut? No, but it felt like it needed to happen for me. And so that was a crazy connection that was kind of cool, I thought. So anything happened to you guys that you think about like that? Go ahead if think of something. Trish?
I was in the doctor's office and someone asked me, they said they had seen me on TikTok, which was kind of like, I'm like, oh, somebody recognized me. That was kind of funny. I think I told Betsy about that.
You did.
I was in the doctor's office and some lady came up to me and said, I've seen you on TikTok. I was like, oh, okay.
Was it the evergreen kind of stuff? Cool.
I think that's a special moment, especially for someone who Trish puts a lot into her content and having fun with it and all those things. And the fact, I think that it caught you so off guard that
I was totally off guard.
It's so special.
I think that's something that's going to grow too. I predict.
You know what? I like being silly with it. I don't put as much into it as you do, though, Sean. Yours is like, mine's just like, oh, okay, I think I'll post something silly today, whatever.
You're very creative, Trish.
But I have fun with it. But you know what? It's work, especially for me because I am not very technical. So when I do my postings on TikTok, it takes me forever. But I'm like, okay, I'm hanging in there. And I think that's, back to the networking. It's a very valuable tool, especially in the Santa community. I meet all kinds of people on there. I just met and I'm originally from California, but I just met a Santa from California and his wife. And I said, I'm going to be in California in August, and they're going to a school out there at that time, and they want to meet up with me. And I was like, oh, if I get a chance, I definitely will. So that was kind of cool too,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, social media, I definitely recommend it.
This isn't really unusual, but I think it's kind of a cool networking thing to share. Cornerstones, the first year, I met this lovely Claus couple there. And about a couple months ago, after Northern Lights, during Northern Lights, I had a Facebook message from a young woman who was at that school at the time, and she was talking to that couple. She reached out to me because she lives sort of in my area. And we had a very connected background in terms of her teaching theater and all the things she does as well. And so we had lunch, and I just thought how neat it's like a couple degrees of separation, and how beautiful networking is, because I got to know Sylvie and Wayne, and then they passed her on to me, and then she had mutual connections. And so I've been trying to do for her what Darla did for me as well. And so it trickles down.
I need to get those two on here. I thought about that. I saw pictures of them today. Because they were with some folks we were with at Cornerstones in Arizona right now.
I love that.
Yeah, Stephanie. They're with them.
Oh, I love Stephanie.
Yeah, and I got to get Stephanie back on here. Okay, I have a question for you. Have you ever collaborated with someone you met through networking? And what was the project and how did it go? It's a big one. Go ahead.
I've collaborated with a lot of Santas that I met through networking. Good experiences. I have one that I work with quite a bit, and we collaborate. We actually did, believe it or not, we did a Halloween event, and we went to a neighborhood where a lot of children were trick-or-treating, and we had passed out trunk or treat. We had all kinds of treats in his trunk, and so that was a fun time. And I recommend it if you want to get known in your own neighborhood. Go out. You know what? Put your outfit on Halloween and go trunk or treat where all the kids are, and pass your business cards out. And yeah, it was a fun event. So we collaborated on that.
I thought when you talked about that, I thought that is such a creative, out of the box idea for you to do that on Halloween the first year. When you talked about that, I loved that.
I did that my first year. I was like, I want to do something different. And, the first year I did it, I went by myself. I literally went door to door. And instead of them giving me a treat, I gave them a treat. So, because they would say like, oh, and I'd say, no, I have a treat for you. And I would give them, a candy with my business card. And I had made an envelope with a flyer in it. And then I also did a drawing at the end of the night. And I gave away 2 free Mrs. Claus visits. So, yeah. I mean, I wanted to get known in my own neighborhood, so.
And I collaborated with Jeff, who I met at Charles Howard. And I did all kinds of different work with him and still do. And we do a lot of preparing for the season together. So I guess that's collaborating. And Joe, Edie, I worked with. That was the networking. Met him at a thing in Michigan. So. And we're still working together. We still have big stuff we do, which is kind of cool. But my most fun thing is working with Betsy and Mike and Bruce. So we have a lot of fun.
We do, and we have discussed. It just shows you're better together because you can feed off other people, generate those ideas. It's been wonderful to have creatives, and we all need that. We all need those ideas and people to fuel those. An interesting thing, I know now that I went to my one speed networking event, I'm kind of on fire with this networking thing. Just even if it doesn't generate anything, I'm having a great time. So like in a couple of weeks, I'm going to a creatives networking event, but it's really all day of workshops and growth. In a city nearby. And I'm very excited because often the connections that we make outside the Claus industry yield, like Trisha's always talked about this too, those connections. Like I hang out where the dentists do because I'm the tooth fairy. Preschool directors, all of those things can yield great, things as well as things within getting gigs from Santas and things too.
And I, on the other hand, too, I just went to a networking, the business women in my town. I knew the speaker and I went to that meeting, and I had no idea what I was actually there for, but I knew I needed to be there. So I just met everybody, and now they're on Facebook and watching me and seeing everything. So who knows what will come of that.
Yes.
So,
Well, and I think particularly for Mrs. Claus, I don't think we're at the top of people's minds. You know, everyone, when it comes time for the holidays, Santa, 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 you know, that's who they want. And unless you put yourself out there, you know, they're not really going to think of you off the top of their head. I think it's a rare thing where they're going to go and ask for a Mrs. Claus, you know. But once they hire us, so yeah, I think it's definitely important to network outside of the Claus community. Obviously, the Claus community, your support and your creativity and your ideas and all that other stuff. But to get jobs and bring an income in, it's important to network in the community.
Yeah,
Sherry,
and Bob
we can still see you.
Yeah, we can see you, Sherry. Bob McMaster had that comment about our large group, Texas State Santas here. We have Lone Star Santas and Texas State Santas, and I know Trish and I have both been active at the wonderful fellowship meals that they have for us to come together as a larger group. They have those in all states, but I have found it such a wonderful thing for us to do that.
I think we do have a strong community. Hi,
Larry. He helps me.
You're lucky.
we have a particularly strong community in Texas, to be honest. I think we do.
Oh, and sorry, Trish, I don't know that you want me to. I just think that, like, I think networking and like having someone like, you know, you in the area who's also been so positive about networking and wanting that, and having Sherry and Angie and all of these women and men in our area who want to have that community of just really always pushes, put yourself, like I find being around people like Trish or Sean or Sherry, it makes me a better version, and it pushes me to think about those.
And I know if I had small children still, and saw Sherry and Larry, oh my God, I would want her with him for my kids to experience, you know. And that's what I try to sell to the world. Like, why it's so wonderful for your child, for the experience. They need to do this and see this. These people are good. So that's my 2 cents on that. Do we have anything else? Because we went to the hour, girls, on our show here already. Any other information on networking or the schools? How important? Boy, if you haven't been to a school, go to some kind of gathering somehow, is my advice.
I think so many of us get a lot, just getting, it's half and half for many of us. We get things out of the sessions, we learn, but I also think just so much of it with the networking and that time to sit in the prep with people, take that time to eat and have time to connect and learn from others.
And if you've been in the community for a while and you see the newbies coming to show up, take them under your wing. And I don't know about you ladies, but I have young women that I met last August when I did some classes, that all during the season, they were texting me. They were sending me pictures of the new aprons they were going to wear. They're getting ready to go to the school. And I was helping them. And it doesn't hurt anything, and it's quite wonderful to do that. So
Dawn, that's a good, I just want to answer that real quick. Santa Nanas, I highly recommend Santa Nanas. That was the first school that I went to, and I flew across the country. I won a scholarship, didn't know anybody, and I walked away with just a whole supportive community that got me launched, especially for a new Mrs. Claus. It doesn't have to be Santa Nanas, but if you're looking for a smaller, very supportive, strong group of women, and they give you the combination of the solo Mrs. Claus, one of them is solo and the other one is paired with the Santa. It's a great overview. At least it was for me. And then Cornerstones is on top of that because it combines Santa Nanas and the other schools. So many good options.
Yeah, I was going to say one more thing for people that do not feel like they can go to a school. Larry and I have done a few online, and we just got through doing Jeff McMullen's class online, and it was so awesome. I mean, he
Mhm.
did such a fabulous job, and that's something you can do right there at your own house. And so that was cool.
And the other thing, Sherry, with that is Mrs. Clauses can do that too online. Because I've taught classes on here before, and sometimes the missus doesn't show up, or she'll just be listening from another room or something. Get involved in it. Sit right there,
Yes.
and it helps the person that's teaching the class or trying to run the discussion if she can see your face too. Be involved in it, and the magic will start happening. So those
Yeah.
schools are very important for sure. I agree with
You
you.
can also learn from the Facebook groups and people asking questions and networking with within the Facebook groups.
And finding someone who's special in your area, like Trish is to me and Sherry is to me, getting together and like Sherry talked about workshopping things. It's just if you can find or bring people into it that
Yeah.
you can sit there and try. Trish one day played the role of a dentist and was drilling me as the tooth fairy, trying to promote her skills. And I mean, she was cutthroat dentist. Why do I want
We
you?
did a mock session.
We did, the two of
And
us.
I was hard on her. I was like, well, why should I hire you? Why would I want a tooth fairy?
She was great, but I'm telling you, that's what I was going to say. Even if you can't go to schools, find some
Yeah.
team members in your area.
And we've done that back and forth
Yeah,
with the improv, just screwing around basically, but it does help you. It really think on your think quick,
It
for sure.
does, for sure.
So Sue says, Sean, you've got an old lady here who likes to reach out to you anytime, Sue. I'm here. Always. And Mike says, Santa Nana is great, and it will be in, I don't know how you say this, Schaumburg, Illinois in September too. Santa Scott, I attended North Pole Cornerstones every year, and it was informative so many ways, for sure. I can only wish my missus would want to join me, Don.
Okay, so Don, I will say that I have convinced, and so has Trish, we don't want to push anybody into anything, but we work very hard to empower women, and Sean does the same, and Sherry, to say you can do this but they have to be called to do it. You don't want to just bring her along. But I think if it's like a confidence thing, I think if you ever can set her up to talk to any of us who do it, we can help with that.
We have convinced a few women. I
Yeah.
mean, from
We
one cornerstone the first year, and then they showed back up on the second year, and holy cow, all involved, total different people. We're like,
Right. I know who you're talking
you
about.
know who I'm talking about.
And
Yeah,
the first year she was like, I'm not having it. He can just beg me all he wants.
she wouldn't
But I'm
even
not-
sit with us
I
at
know,
all.
I know, and she's great. She's gonna
She's
be
phenomenal.
gonna do
And
a
We
good
need to get
job.
her back on here too, because I'm sure she has some insight that would be really interesting to listen to.
Mhm.
I would love to hear her talk. I think sometimes it's learning about the different things that Mrs. Claus does and who Mrs. Claus is and how they can find their place within it. And
Yeah.
And
my
it's
my-
not so scary when you say it like that, Betsy. I mean,
No.
it breaks it down.
It's like
Well, and I
really
think
look at
this-
it.
I
Yeah.
think that the nice thing about it is Mrs. Claus can be anyone you want her to be. We make her who some people now mine I tend to be like I like to have fun and be silly and and that's my thing. I like to kind of get down and play with the kids and act silly with them, and I'm all about laughter and that. And then there's other Mrs. Clauses who are just so I think, Sean, you're really nurturing, and I mean, I'm not saying I'm not nurturing, but I mean, we all have our own style. We can wear anything we want to wear, within limits. But the nice thing about being Mrs. Claus is you can make her whoever you are comfortable being.
And I think a big part of that is you need to figure out your character. You need to go deep. You need to do some history, not just get dressed and do it. I mean, there's
Exactly.
more to it if you want to do it properly. That's just my 2 cents on this, because I think you can do a better job when you do spend time, and it does take time. Well, ladies, we're going to have to wrap this up. I want to thank you for sharing your stories, and everyone that is on here tonight, thank you for being here. I also want to remind everyone to please subscribe to our YouTube channel for Tuesday Night Live and the Claus Connect. It's free to subscribe. You do not have to pay anything. I know some people did think that you had to pay. Free. We like the word free on TNL, from what I hear. Thank you for supporting each other and being a part of tonight. And join us next time. Next Monday, we will have a mystery guest and some questions. And the beginning of the show, we will try to figure out who our mystery guest is. And you can ask them questions, and it's going to be fun. And we'll have some questions for the chat and discussion. So thank you tonight for everything. This was really nice, and I think it's important to talk about this subject for all of us and to keep talking about it and making it a part of the Claus community and making it stronger for all of us so that we can do a better job, because in the end it's for the children, and that's why we're all here. So
Absolutely.
thank you, ladies, and with that, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you.